So the UFC have decided to bless us with maybe the worst card I've ever seen in my 20 years of existing on this planet this weekend. And I'm going to go through the entire card. Jesus fucking Christ. Giving my prediction for every single fight on the card. It's probably not going to be a long video because I don't know who half these guys are. But anyway, we'll start with the main event. Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. Now, this is an interesting one. If Mike Malott doesn't win this fight, cut him from the UFC. I don't care. He came in. Everyone's acting like he's this new... Well, I say everyone. It was mostly just the UFC and Joe Rogan. But and like he's this fucking young, insane talent. Never seen before. Going to run through everyone in the division. And then he's like going to close decisions with like Trevin Giles or some shit. Is that even him? I didn't even fucking know. And losing to Neil Magny. And he's 35 years of age. It's like, what are we doing here? He beat Kevin Holland because of a couple nut shots. Brad Key's a good win, I guess. But like... What is there to be impressed with here? Like, wow, he beat Adam Fugit. Jesus Christ. He's the next champion of this division. But, I don't even want to fucking go through this card. But yeah. Malott, he's alright, I guess. And then we've got Gilbert Burns, who's obviously very washed. He's lost like 4 in a row, I think. And I'm probably going to pick... Well, I'm going to pick Mike Malott here. But I'm going to bet on Gilbert Burns because for some fucking reason... They've watched these two fight and go, Mike Malott deserves to be minus 600 here. I don't know how the fuck you make him a 6-1 favourite in this fight after what we've seen from him. Like, I know Gilbert Burns has lost recently, but let's just go through if this fucking website wants to work. $1 billion. There we go. Like, go through the guys that beat him. What would fucking Michael Morales do to Mike Malott? He would kill him in like 2 minutes. I know Morales isn't like this, like as that great. He's good, he's like powerful and dangerous, but he's not like a crazy, insane, like skillful guy. He would destroy Mike Malott as quick as he beat Gilbert Burns. Sean Brady would probably finish Mike Malott. JDM would beat the shit out of him and finish him. Bilal would beat him. That version of Masvidal could probably beat Mike Malott right now. And then obviously he beat Magny, who beat Malott. But the guys who Gilbert Burns losing to are like the top guys in the division. You know, Bilal, next fight he became champ. Brady beat him, and his next fight he beat Leon, who was the former champ. Morales beat him, and now he's fighting for a number 1 contender fight soon, I'd assume. It was like JDM beat him and then became champ. So like he's losing to guys that are going on to become champion. And let's be honest, Mike Malott isn't doing that, and he's nowhere near as good as the other guys. So although I am gonna pick Malott, is not very confident at all. And if you're gonna bet on anyone, bet on Gilbert Burns because he's like plus 400, and he's probably not as washed as some people make out. And Mike Malott is nowhere near as good as other people make out. So yeah. That's my prediction for the main event. This is a main event. Jesus Christ. This is the thing. Like, main events recently, everyone's complaining about them. The main events are never bad fights. They're just bad main events. Like, if Gilbert Burns versus Malott headlined the prelims of a pay-per-view, or was a co-main event. If this fight night, the main event was... Like, I know Brendan Allen's been representing Canada. So if this main event was, like, Brendan Allen versus DDP or something... And then the co-main would be Burns versus Malott. Everyone would be like, oh, Burns versus Malott, that's a good fight. But because they made it the fucking main event, everyone's now going to shit on it. Same as Moicano Duncan. Great fight. Easily could be opening up the main card of a pay-per-view. But because it was the main event, everyone's like, oh, this is a terrible fight, blah, blah, blah. And it's just what they keep doing this weekend, but in the UFC right now, is making these fighters that are actually kind of decent look shit. And now the whole card's the whole card sucks anyway, but yeah. I don't even know what I was going on around. But yeah, I'm going with Malott, but not confidently. Bet on Burns, trust me. Next fight. Yeah, this is an actual win. This is like probably my favourite fight on the card. This is actually a pretty good fight. Kyler Phillips versus Charles Jourdain. And I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain by... Fuck it, I'm going to go with him by sub. I can see the decision here very easily as well, though. But Kyler Phillips, he's a dangerous guy. He's pretty good, pretty well-rounded. Jesus Christ. But he has a shit gas tank, and if you put the pressure on him, you're going to break him and you're going to beat him. And I think Charles Jourdain is going to do that. He looks really good since dropping down. He didn't look too good against Victor Henry at times, but it was his first fight at the weight class. And then he fought Davey Grant, who's actually a good guy outside the rankings, and he destroyed him. And he looked really good in that fight. So now I think the weight cut, he's getting more used to it. This will be his 3rd time doing the weight cut down to 35. He's going to have a better gas tank, which is crazy considering he's the one dropping down in weight. He's got a good style to beat Kyler Phillips. He's dangerous on the ground. He's dangerous on the feet. He's got all the finishing upside in this fight, in my opinion. And yeah, I think he's gonna submit Kyler Phillips. Because Kyler Phillips, he's got good wrestling. And Charles Jourdain's takedown defense isn't that great. But a lot of the time, Jourdain's initial takedown defense isn't good because he jumps the gilly or he tries to catch him in a submission and he gets taken down, but then he can work his way back up to his feet from there. And I think he's going to be able to do that in this fight. And I think he's going to find a submission when Kyler Phillips shoots him for a takedown later on in the fight. When he's gassed out, he's hurt. Maybe Charles Jourdain, he's throwing a lot of flying knees recently and catching people. That's why you've got to get Davey Grant with in his last fight. And then I think Kyler Phillips is going to shoot him, put himself in a bad position and get submitted. So I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain here. Even in his recent fights, I saw he's 8-7 in the UFC or something like that. And I'm looking to who he's losing to. And it's Gene Silver and stuff. And he's going to a split decision with Sean Woodson. Those aren't bad losses to have, especially because he's still young. He was losing to some tough guys in the division when he was only 23 years old, Gene Silver, not a bad loss whatsoever. Sean Woodson, a split decision. Arguably he should have won. That's not a bad loss. He's beat a couple of decent guys. Fucking wrong racing. Jesus Christ. Nathaniel Wood. Again, Nathaniel Wood is probably better than every single person Kyler Phillips. Well, Nathaniel Wood is better than every single person Kyler Phillips was beaten in his career. Shane Burgos, not the greatest loss to have, but again, he was 25. I'm not going to take too much away from this. A lot of these wins are when he's very young in the UFC. Julian Erosa, when he was 24. He's been looking a lot better recently. He's been having success against good guys. He was doing well against Gene Silver until he got hurt. And I don't think Kyler Phillips is going to be able to do that. He's not anywhere near as dangerous, and he does gas out after round 1 in every single fight. And I think Jourdain's going to take advantage of that. He just needs to win one of the first 2 rounds, in my opinion. He's won the fight. So yeah, I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain by submission there. Next fight up. Oh, fuck. My GOAT, Jai Herbert. Against Mandel Nallo. Rat Garbage. What a fucking nickname that is. I'm going to go with Jai Herbert because he's English and I'm from near the same place as him. So yeah, I'm going to go Jai Herbert by decision. Fuck it, why not? Very good chance he gets chinned in this fight, but we move. I don't think Nallo's good. He's 36, just got into the UFC off the Contender Series. Lost some fights recently in other promotions. And then Jai Herbert, his UFC record's bad, but it's look who he's losing to. And look who he's fighting. They're actually decent guys. Chris Badilla at a split decision. Chris Badilla is very good, we know this. Bedoya sucks, we know. Jai Herbert versus Ziam. I was at this card. Shit fight, but again, it's Faraz Ziam. Probably the best up-and-coming guy in the division right now. Well, maybe not the best, but one of the best guys up-and-coming in the division. Draw with Ludovic Klein. That is better than anything Mandel Nallo will ever do in his career. Let's be honest here. B. Carl Nelson, again, not bad. Not a bad win even. Ilya Topuria, literally the best loss you can have in the sport right now. Fucking hell, I don't even know who that is. Again, losing to Moicano. These aren't bad losses, and the guys he's losing to, apart from Trinaldo in his debut, they're all pretty good guys. Either literal championship level, a pound for pound number 1 in Ilya, or all tough ranked guys like Faraz Ziam or whatever. So I think he's going to be able to beat Mandel Nallo here in his debut. I do worry if it goes to a decision, the Canadian crowd might sway it, but fuck it. We're going to knock him out. It's fine. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jai Herbert there. Next fight, Jasmine Jasdavicius versus Silva. I'm going to go with Jasdavicius. Silva can't defend takedowns. She's got a 21% takedown defense rate, and Jasdavicius is just going to maul her. She's going to take it down and destroy her. Pretty simple. She lost the last fight in a minute, but it was Fioro, who's basically beaten everyone but Shevchenko. So I'm not going to take too much away from that. That's not happening with Korean Silva. Silva's 1-2 in the last 3. She should have lost the fight that she won as well. I don't think she's that good. I think she's going to get smoked in this fight. So I'm going to go with Jasdavicius there. Next fight, Moises versus Gage Young. Oh, fuck. I don't know who I'm going to go with in this fight. How old's Moises? Does it say? No, it doesn't say. Fuck, I don't know. It's a good fight. I'm going to go with Gage Young. Just because I think... hold on, let me check if this is the right guy I'm thinking of. I did not look into any of this before I recorded this video. Yeah, he lost to Evan Elder. No, I'm going to go with Moises. I know he's lost a lot of fights, but look who he's losing to, I picked against him in his last fight was Gordon, just because I was I think Gordon's a bit better. But, here we go. Lost to Gordon, that's fine. Gage Young probably would. Lost to, beat Trey Ogden, yeah, whatever. Loses to Ludovic Klein by decision. Again, losing to Klein outside the rankings isn't that big of a deal. He probably is a top 15 fighter in the division. Just he had to fight Gamrot in his fight up into the rankings. That's a tough fight to have. And he's beating those guys, lost to Benoit. Look who the guy, beat Costa, submitted him. These are some solid wins and not bad losses to have, Losing to Klein, that's nothing. Losing to Benoit, again, that's fine. Losing to Joel Alvarez, you know? Like, these aren't... Losing to fucking Islam Makhachev. These aren't bad losses to have. And even though he is kind of old and he's taking a lot of damage, and he could definitely get chinned in this fight, I don't know if Gage Young's at that level yet. You know, he beat that Masha Tate guy in his last fight, who's just a walk-in punch bag, not that impressive. And then obviously he lost to Evan Elder, which is a very bad look. So yeah, I'm going to go with Moises here by close decision. But I could see him getting chinned by Gage Young. You know, it's not a confident pick. None of these, only a couple of these are pretty confident picks. Like this next one. Dennis Bazookia versus Barboza. Barboza's going to knock him out in the first 2 rounds. He looked really good in the Contender Series. Basically knocked the guy out twice. I remember he like face planted him on the floor and the other guy just got up and somehow carried on fighting. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he still knocked him out in the first round anyway. It doesn't really matter. I need the contact information of the 12 people that Dennis Bazookia has beaten, because he is fucking awful. I'm pretty sure this was a weird split decision. I don't think it should have been. I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember watching this fight at all. It was nearly 2 years ago. Yeah, he's been out for nearly 2 years as well. Beat Conor Matthews, who cares? Lost to Woodson, and he got slammed out in one punch by Jamal Emmers. And if you're getting put out in one punch by Jamal Emmers, you're probably going to get slept by Barboza. This guy's only lost twice. One of them was like 5 years ago in the regionals. I don't know who it was against. And the other one was what's his name? Santos. Gabriel Santos, who went to a split decision and probably should have beat Murphy on short notice in his debut. And is on a pretty good run right now. Those are his only 2 losses. So and I think probably both of them would beat Bazookia. This guy's in the UFC. Because he trains with like Aldo and Marab and them. So I'm going to go with Barboza here, and then they'll probably cut Bazookia from the sports. Next fight. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, or him, to be honest. But I'm going to go with LeBlanc, because Valentin's arguably the worst fighter I've ever seen in my entire life. Again, this fucking billion-dollar company. Here we go. Lost to... got destroyed by Ryan Loader. Loses to Torres Finney, who we now know fucking sucks. And then Gautier is not a bad loss, but it was whatever. So yeah, I'm going to go with LeBlanc. Another thing, if anyone knows Clint McLean on Twitter, he's probably the worst gambler I've ever seen in my life. His pick of the week is Valentin, so I'm going to fade him. So we're going with LeBlanc, even though I've never seen him fighting in my life. I don't even know what he looks like. Anyway, next fight. Same thing as this guy. I don't know who the fuck he is, but I'm picking him to win because Tanner Boser sucks. I don't know why they got this guy back in the UFC. This fucking website. He last fought in 2023. He won his last fight. Hold on. Oh, I remember that Cutelaba one. Yeah, that was a fucking bad look. He lost to Nascimento by split. Okay, these aren't bad fights. He also knocked out the guy who's fighting... he knocked out Felipe Lins, who's now fighting Francis Ngannou. Makes sense, I guess. A Tanner Boser victim is fighting Francis Ngannou. And people think MVP is going to compete with the UFC. It's not even hard to compete with the UFC anymore. Anyway, I'm going to go with this geezer. I don't know who the fuck he is. I don't know anything about him, but I'm going to pick him because they only brought Tanner Boser in because they wanted another Canadian on the card because they have none. Next fight. Croden versus... I'm not even going to try. I'm going to go with Croden. I think she's pretty good. She is pretty good. She only lost to Santos on short notice. This girl just beat Melissa Mullins, who... destroyed her the first time they fought. No idea why they made that twice. Well, I guess only one was in the UFC. But yeah, I'm going to go with Croden by finish. She'll probably take it down and beat her up on the ground. I'm going to speedrun these. I don't give a fuck. Who are these people? Anyway, I know these two. This is a pretty good fight. It's probably on the main card. Mitch Raposo versus Alan Nascimento. This is a weird fight because Mitch Raposo has not looked good for a lot of his UFC career, you know. It's not necessarily that he wasn't looking good. There's a couple fights where he didn't look good. Like this Lima one, he didn't look good at all in. And then Sumu Derchi was a relatively... It wasn't even that close of a fight. These are both split decisions, but he clearly lost them both. I don't know what the fucking judges were on. And then he beat... I can't remember his first name. He beat Maxim as a big underdog. But Nascimento, I do think, is a bit better than... I've already forgot his name. Maxim. But then again, he was losing to Cody Durden until he found the finish. He's a dangerous guy, I'll give him that. Beat Hadley. Was I there for that? No, that was a different guy. Again, losing the split to Bekov ain't that bad. I'm going to go with Nascimento, but I wouldn't be putting money on him at like minus 300 or whatever he is. He's not very confident. Because Mitch Raposo, he's a very awkward guy to deal with. And I think he could find some success in, maybe win a close decision. I think it'll be a close decision either way. I'm going to lean Nascimento right now, but it's not a confident one. Definitely will not be putting any money on him. Next fight. I've never watched JJ Aldridge fight in my life. Who the fuck is she fought against? Let's have a look, shall we? Who is Lee? Who would he? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I know one person, two people, three people on the screen. Four. Never mind. Blanchfield's on there. Okay, I know a few of these. Well, she lost to Blanchfield, lost to De Silva even. I don't know who these people are. I'm gonna go with Jamie Linhoff. I guess she's actually not that bad, considered for outside the rankings. She knocked her out. Jesus. Oh yeah, I remember that fight. Like she's got a couple good wins. Like Miranda Maverick's not a bad loss. You know, she lost to her as well. Who is this? Hold on, we're going on the side quest here. Let me have a look at this. She just fought. Right? I've never seen her fight in my life. Okay, fair enough. Maybe she's pretty good. She's fit, so. Anyway, fuck. I'll go with Jamie Linhoff, I guess, by decision because it's women's MMA. And I don't think JJ Aldridge is good, even though I've never seen a fight. Anyway, next fight. This is a good fight. Vologdin versus Castaneda. Obviously, Vologdin had that War on the Contender series. One of the best fights I've ever seen, which has made him put this fight at pick-em odds, and now I'm going to bet on John Castaneda. Right now, I don't know, half my picks are going to change, it's just I wanted to record a video today. But anyway, I'm going to go with Castaneda. Like, he's not bad, you know, we go through his career here. Gutierrez, not a terrible loss on your record. It was a pretty close fight too. Marcos, again, not bad. Kang, who the fuck? Beat Gafarov, who is not awful. You know, he beat, who the fuck did he beat? He beat Rinya Nakamura. He was probably going to beat Wiklak this year if he wasn't a retard. Well, he wasn't because the judges had him losing. But he should have been winning, if you know what I mean. And then, nearly knocked out Santos, got finished himself. Beat Miles Jones. It's like, he's a pretty decent fighter, and in his UFC debut, I don't think Vologdin, or whatever his name, is going to be ready for this. He didn't look good in his last fight. It was just a war. Like, it was a crazy fight. He's clearly very tough, and he clearly is dangerous. But I don't think it's going to be enough, and I think he's going to lose this fight to Castaneda. So I'm going to go with Castaneda. And in this last fight, I don't know who either of them are. He lost to he lost to Bashi. That's not a bad loss. We'll go with this guy, because Jamie Siraj doesn't have a photo, so I can't pick him, even though I picked two guys that don't have a photo earlier. But yeah, anyway, that's my predictions for this card. Fucking awful card, if we're being honest. I think everyone has already acknowledged that though. They've got a couple good fights, but again, it's like, this is what I mean. We need less UFC cards. No one would care if there wasn't a card this weekend. I'm more excited for the NBA playoffs. Like, why do we need this, you know? But yeah, fucking 4 a.m. this main event's going to be at. Fair play. So yeah, those are my picks. Loki! I'll make a whole video on this tomorrow, maybe. I probably won't. The upcoming schedule looks pretty good. Outside of this card has a couple. It's probably going to be good entertaining wise, and it's got a good main event, which is fine. This is a good card. This is a good card. This is a shit card. But like, for the most part, the upcoming fight cards aren't looking too bad. You know, obviously we got what do we have? Oh, we got a fight in Philly. Okay, that might be alright. That might be a Joe Python main event. You know, versus Kaya Braulio or something. But yeah, this ain't a bad schedule upcoming. We got Cap versus Horiguchi coming up as well. We've got a couple. There's obviously stacked card there. So yeah, I'm excited for the stuff that started in May. From May, I'm kind of excited for this card, but I'm not excited for this one. But from May, we got a pretty good schedule, so we just got a couple of weeks to push through. Let's go through this card real quick. Great main event. Not too bad of a fight. Oh, that's the other guy from that Contender Series fight. Okay, Jackson Barcelos. Okay, this is going to be a decent card entertaining-wise. Not that many big names on it, but at least it's still an upgrade from this week. I guess, which is crazy because this one's in... How is this in front of... this? Sterling versus Allows in the Apex. Arnold Allen versus Costas in the Apex. But Burns versus Malott, it gets a crowd. I'm pretty sure there's a couple passes. Like, Duncan Moricano shouldn't have been in the Apex, you know? Vallejo's fight shouldn't have been in the Apex. Like, we had so many of these recently. They should have... Royval Cap in the Apex, but Burns versus Malott gets a card. It gets a crowd even. Fairs. Whatever. So yeah, that's all my picks. Make sure you go follow my Twitter and stuff. I'm posting all my official bets on there now. So if you want some fucking money, because I'm the GOAT. I've had like 2 profitable weeks this year. No, I'm up this year. We're going to make it a big one this weekend. This card's a pretty good gambling card. But yeah, make sure you go follow my Twitter. My TikTok got banned, so don't follow that. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.